Hello everyone, welcome to Aptiplus Academy for Civil Services. This is a special video on Fortnight Current Affair, also known as FCA, where I'll be discussing 10 most important news for the entire fortnight. This is Fortnight 2 for the month of May. We releases 2 fortnight every month. The first fortnight is being released on second Sunday and the second fortnight is released on fourth Sunday. The coverage of the entire news include three important components. The first is the Hindu, other is the Indian Express and the PIB, right? So without any further delay, let's get started with the topic list. So these are the list of the topic for the discussion. There are 10 important news. You can pause this video and you can read out the entire topic one by one. We'll be discussing each and every topic in relevant details. And if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Aptiplus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do not forget to press a like button. So the first news topic is the State of the World Bird Report, which was recently released by the BirdLife International Organization. And this report is something very important that will give you an insight about the birds population in the entire world. So according to the latest review, the State of the World report, approximately 48% of the existing bird species worldwide are known or suspended to be undergone the population decline. So this is what the astonishing fact coming from the survey. And this compared the trend of the 39% of the species that remain stable. जितनी भी कंपैरिजन की गई उस एनालिसिस में ये पता चला कि 39% जो पॉपुलेशन ऑफ स्पीसीज है दे आर स्टेबल, 6% have shown the decreasing trend, and 7% population are still unknown. So this is what the report has to quote in terms of the latest State of the World Bird Report. Now, as per the State Bird Report, जो human की tendency है to eat the birds, that is 14% of the world surviving bird species. Mostly we have seen the consumptions of bird and their species in China and many other countries. However, this is not really the reason for the 48% of the extant bird species undergoing the population decline. So the report has categorically stated that सिर्फ bird की eating जो human के द्वारा की जाती, that is only the not the specific reason for the declining of the bird population. There are so many other reasons also that has contributed to the decline in the bird populations. So the review found that almost 5,245 or about 48% of the existing bird species worldwide are known or susceptible to undergo the population decline. Now, कुछ और findings की अगर बात करें डिटेल में, as per the new research, the global bird population have steadily declined over the last 3 decades, and this continued because of the human footprint on the natural world that has led to the degradations or the loss of natural habitat. रिपोर्ट ने ये भी नोट किया है that climate change is another significant reason for the decline of the bird populations, right? And this pattern is varying in the response from the migratory birds that has also been observed in Europe, Northern America, and India, where the climate change is considered to be the major driver of the change. The other news, Andaman to get gas-based power plant. So recently, the Union Environment Ministry has approved an exemption to the law governing the regulation of coastal zone. जो coastal zone की regulations हैं उसमें exemptions देते हुए Union Environment Ministry ने अंडमान के लिए गैस की जो प्लांट है उसको अलाउ किया है. So the approval of basically which is given by the ministry will pave the way for setting up a gas power plant in the Andaman and Nicobar. Now, what is coastal zone regulation? This is something important for prelims examination. जितने भी आइसलैंड है इंडिया में that is being regulated by the coastal zone regulation. उनके अलग अलग कैटेगरीज हैं जो कोस्टल जोन रेगुलेशन 1, 2, 3, 4 होते हैं, उनके लिमिट अकॉर्डिंगली सेट होते हैं. सो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट ऑन द वनरेबल कोस्ट आर टेकन वंस दीज regulations are taken into consideration. So the coastal zone regulation have been declared by the Ministry of Environment and Forest under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. So CRZ rules are made by the Union Environment Ministry to implement and ensure कि जितने भी states government है वो अपने कोस्टल जोन मैनेजमेंट जो मैनेजमेंट अथॉरिटीज़ है उनके अप्रूवल के बाद ही इस तरह के प्लान के एस्टैब्लिशमेंट करेंगे. Now, installations of power projects. So, the Andaman and Nicobar administration is expect to commission 50 megawatt of the project that will be run on the liquefied natural gas, and the location is Hope Town in the Port Blair, right? And this would be developed by the National Thermal Power Corporation, that is NTPC. NTPC के पर्सनली ये कहा है कि जो ड्यूअल फ्यूल पावर प्लांट होगी दैट विल रन ऑन द बोथ दैट इज डीजल एंड LNG. And there have been increase in the interest in the development of the Andaman and Nicobar, and this policy push was also recommended by the नीति आयोग itself. तो नीति आयोग के recommendations भी आई हैं कि यहाँ पे establishment होनी चाहिए. So the proposed project plan to develop a greater Andaman region for the southern stretch of the island group. Now the other news, that is creation of integrated battle group. According to the Chief of Army Staff, the Army has identified holding a formation of Western Front and strike formation of the northern borders to be covered into the agile integrated battle group. आपको बताऊंगा क्या होती है integrated battle group. So first, let's understand the objective of it. The purpose of restructuring the existing formation, जो integrated battle group की formation की जा रही है, integrate किया जा रहा है, is to focus where are the lean, agile and tailor-made, which would afford the commanders and give flexibility to them in terms of operations and for their employment in respective theater to achieve the desired outcome. तो एक exclusive power दी जाएगी उस operations के लिए ताकि उसकी execution plans better हो सके. The concept of IBG has already been tested by the Army 9 Corps and was later validated by the 17 Mountain Strike Corps in its exercise. Now, each integrated battle group, जितने भी IBG हैं, would be tailored made because we need to consider the fact that the threat, terrain and the task resources will have to be allocated on 3 T's. तो ये 3 T's हैं जिन पे IBG काम करेंगी. And the idea for this would be to tight with centralized logistic and able to mobilize the forces within 12 to 48 hours based on their locations. And the IBG will also be a defense and offensive in nature. So it will defend our forces where required. It will be offensive where it is essentially required. Now, what is integrated battle group? As what we have sum up, we can sum up with this infograph that between brigade and division, there's a formation of comprising existing element of infantry, tank, artillery, UAV, engineering signals. And these are some of the other features, like each IBG will have a differentiated on the basis of threat, terrain and task. You can take the screenshot of it. You can even for the later period, you can revise, which would be again helping you for the upcoming prelims examination also. Proactive doctrine की बात की गई है. After the terrorist attack in the parliament, the Indian military undertook the massive mobilizations, जहाँ पे आर्मी की फॉर्मेशंस के थ्रू मोबिलाइजेशंस पे खासा ध्यान दिया गया और इस तरह के बैटल ग्रुप बनाने के लिए भी कोशिश की. The formations of this as the army formulated a proactive doctrine known as the cold start to launch the swift offensive, but existing were denied in the past. तो अब अप्रूवल मिली है. So army would be accordingly functioning और integrated battle groups जो हैं वो full fledged काम करेंगी. The Supreme Court has suspended Section 124A till further order. This is a landmark judgment or decision taken by the Supreme Court. So the landmark decision coming from the Supreme Court to hold the pending trial, appeals and proceeding with regard to the sedition law, that is Section 124A of the IPC, right? पूरी तरह से सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने इसको सस्पेंड कर दिया है जब तक ये फर्दर सुप्रीम कोर्ट इसको री एग्जामिन कर रही है. For that time being, no cases, no FIR would be lodged, right? The court has made it clear that it has suspended Section 124A in the present form until the further orders. And person against whom the fresh cases are lodged under Section 124A, the provision is being re-examined by the union government and they can seek the bail using the Supreme Court orders. तो बहुत सारे ऐसे cases थे, बहुत सारे ऐसे journalists हैं, RTI activists थे, they were falsely implicated with the cases और सेक्शन 124 लगा के कई लोगों को जेल भी किया गया. We have seen many students from JNU, people from Kashmir, journalists and other people were intentionally being imposed with the section and they were harassed by the government. Now, no fresh FIR would be lodged. This is what the Supreme Court has noted. And it said that the center will refrain from registering any FIR and it will continue to investigate the cohesive manner where the law is under consideration. So, till the Supreme Court comes with a final verdict, no FIR can be made in this regard. And person cannot be incarcerated or charged under the currently non-existent penal provisions. The provision of bail is now applicable, which was not earlier available for this section. So this order, under this order, the bail section 124A would be applicable and the person cannot be incarcerated or charged under the currently or non-existing penal provisions. The court has made it clear that it does not want any single person to be booked under section 124A or to be kept in the prison while the Supreme Court is considering this law. Now, how this section has actually evolved, अगर section 124A की बात करें seditions की, it was actually evolved in 1870. This is a colonial law. This is a colonial Dacourian law, which was again used for many freedom fighters in India like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi. These were the people that were actually being given the sedition charges. Or after independence 1948, 1949, 1951 और 1974 में इस तरह के changes की गई. Presently 2019 data shows that sedition cases rose by 25% and the arrest was 41% the previous year. Hence, only 3% of the cases had led to the convictions. Now, CCMB developed India mRNA vaccine platform. So, India's first indigenous mRNA vaccine technology to fight against the COVID-19 has been developed by the Center for Cellular and Molecular Biology and the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research. Now, the team of Atal Incubation Center has led the development of this vaccine. These two are the factual information that can be again relevant for your prelims examination. So mRNA vaccine are among those that lead that is again advancing as a technology and essentially required for the vaccine formulation. क्या क्या advantages है mRNA vaccine की? First, in the host cell it gives rise to the microbial protein or as a part of it, and it train the immune system to evade from the real-time infections, right? ये indigenously developed mRNA vaccine जो होंगी, this can be used for many other diseases like TB, dengue, malaria, chikungunya, and rare genetic diseases and other. Technology and its rapid turnaround time, which means that vaccine can be developed for other diseases or pan-COVID coverages, which Government of India is endeavoring. And CSIR CCMB is leading to the development of mRNA vaccine technology in the entire country. So fight against COVID-19, the same mRNA technology can be used to develop vaccines for dengue, TB and malaria. And mRNA vaccines are the technology that is developed by CCMB, the different from the Genova Bio that was actually developed initially. And 2 doses of mRNA vaccine is mice elicited for robust immune response with regard to the COVID-19 viruses. And CCMB researchers have developed the mRNA vaccine platform in a lesser period, that is less than a year. mRNA vaccine does not use live virus that cause the COVID. So there's a different basically methodology that is being followed for the formulations. Sweden and Finland to join the NATO forces. This is the top international news that we have tracked for the entire week. So recently, the Sweden and Finland has officially announced that it will apply for the NATO membership. ये ऐसी membership होगी जब फिनलैंड और खास करके जो स्वीडन है ये 200 साल के बाद एक मिलिट्री नॉन अलाइनमेंट करने के लिए जा रहे हैं in wake of the Russia's decision to invade Ukraine. So Sweden has formally decided to apply for NATO membership. और उसको देखते हुए फिनलैंड ने भी अप्लाई किया. ये नॉर्डिक कंट्री है, 5 इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीज होते हैं. मैंने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया हुआ है कौन कौन से इंपॉर्टेंट कंट्रीज है. यू मस्ट लर्न दैट. इफ यू हैव नॉट वॉच दैट वीडियो, डू चेक इट आउट. दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू. Sweden and Finland have both expressed the desire to act in a lockstep on a NATO membership, and they have expressed to submit their application jointly this way. So possibly when we are recording the lecture, the ongoing process is going for the membership of the NATO for Sweden and Finland. Now, this is a map. This will give you an idea why the intention is to join. You can see this are the stretch, almost 1300 kilometer stretch is there, which Finland share with Russia, and this is again Sweden. So these countries would be looking forward to join NATO so that they can strengthen and जो रशिया के जिस तरह से इनकाउंटर किए यूक्रेन को उसको फ्यूचर में अवॉइड किया जा सके इन कंट्रीज पे ना. Russia's response. So the Russia president has warned that NATO expansion may trigger a response from Russia. And it says that no direct threat for Russia, but expansion of military infrastructure in the territory will certainly provoke the Russia response. This is what officially Russian government has stated. Now, opposition क्या है Turkey ने इस decision को? The formal decision by the Sweden and Finland to join the NATO has been opposed by Turkey, and Turkey has said that they do not admire the effort which was made, and they said that in the history previously these two countries have hosted the member for Kurdish rebel group also. So Turkey said that it wanted the Nordic member to hold the support to Kurdish rebel in their territory and lift ban on the sale of some weapons to Turkey as well. Now NATO की जो enlargement है उसमें एक policy काम करती है which is known as open door policy, which is envisaged under Article 10 of the NATO Antarctic Treaty. North Atlantic Treaty की इसके साथ formation हुई तो आप NAT भी कह सकते हैं 1949. It says that any decision on enlargement must be made by the unanimous agreement, and NATO enlargement has been increased to ensure the stability and prosperity in the European countries. It aims to promote the stability and cooperations to build Europe in the united, peace, democratic with common values. Now, any decision on NATO enlargement required the approval of 30 members and its aligned members. ISRO ने टेस्ट किया है booster for Gaganyaan, again something very important. So recently, the Indian Space Research Organization has completed a static human-rated solid rocket propellers for the Gaganyaan program from the Satish Dhawan Research Center at Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. Now, something that you must know about HS-200 boosters, ये human-rated versions हैं, जो कि booster की तरह act करेंगे for the geosynchronous satellite, which the vehicle used is MK3, it's called as LVM3, and it is designed to develop. It was actually designed and developed by the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Trivandrum over the past 2 years. So total duration for the manufacturing was 2 years. HS-200 is a 20-meter long booster with a diameter of 3.2 meter, with the world's second largest operational booster using the solid propellant. So the UPSC can confuse you with regard to solid and liquid propellant. So make sure you are thorough with the minor details that has been discussed in this session. GSLV Mark III, this is a human-rated versions of S-200 rocket, and GSLV Mark III rocket, which will be used by the Gaganyaan, will have two HS-200 boosters that will supply a thrust to the liftoff, and 3 propulsion targets हैं इसके propulsion target in the MK3, and the second stage use liquid propellant while other 3 use the cryogenic stages. So this is how the GSLV Mark III would functions. A major milestone in India, the successful completion of this test will mark a major milestone in prestigious human space aircraft mission, where the Gaganyaan as the first stage of the launch vehicle is tested to perform with the full durations. Quality control was also taken into consideration. कुछ 700 parameters थे जिनको पहले चेक किया गया. Loaded with 203 ton of the solid propellant, and H2 booster 200 booster will test for the duration of 135 seconds. The control system used were 200 booster employed by the world most powerful electromechanical outcutters, which multiply in redundancy and safety features. So these are some of the advanced and quality control measures that were taken initially before this actually take place. SCO anti-terror meet begins in India. So a 4-day meeting that was held, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, जिसकी regional anti-terrorist structure, जिसको RATS के नाम से भी जाना जाता है, was held in Delhi. And RATS is based in Taksim, which is a permanent body grouping for the countering terrorism, extremists, separatists in the European region, in the Eurasian region actually. The delegation was from Pakistan and 7 other countries. This is for the first time that Pakistan is taking an official meet with India. And participant countries की अगर बात करें, SCO grouping took place this meeting, scheduled for 16 to 19, and SCO grouping comprises of Russia, China, India, and beside this, Pakistan, Iran, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan are the participant countries. क्या significance होगी इस meeting की? So the meeting said that the significance would be given to the network for the Afghanistan-Pakistan region, and the area of narcotic smuggling would be also taken into considerations. Current chair अगर बात करें SCO RATS की, India is the current chair of the Executive Council, and India will host the SCO RATS Council meeting in October. अभी इंडिया के पास Executive Council की chairmanship है, and India will also propose to hold the SCO Joint Anti-Terrorist Exercise in Manesar this year in Haryana. SCO is one of the largest pluralistic, covering over 40% of the global population, 30% of the global GDP. So these are the factual information. Uzbekistan is SCO chair for 2022 and will host the summit in September. And India will host the SCO summit next year, that is for 2023. Cabinet approved amendment to the National Biofuel Policy, something which is very evident and the need of the hour. तो रिसेंटली कैबिनेट ने कुछ चेंजेस की है नेशनल बायोफ्यूल पॉलिसीज़ में, जहाँ पे ये कहा गया है कि जो 20% इथेनॉल मिक्सिंग की बात की गई थी 2030 के लिए, उस डेट को चेंज करके अब 2025 कर दिया गया. द पॉलिसी विल इंट्रोड्यूस 20% ऑफ इथेनॉल इन पेट्रोल विद इफेक्ट्स फ्रॉम 1 अप्रैल 2023. नाउ ये जो अमेंडमेंट की गई है उसमें और क्या क्या बातें हैं. फर्स्ट, लाइक allowing the more feedstock production for the biofuel, advancement of 20% of the blending, promotions of production of biofuel in the country under the special economic zone or export oriented units, granting permission for the export of biofuels in the specific cases. So you can look into this graph. This will give you an idea किस तरह से actually formations होती है. Crop, this is a sugarcane is a main crop. Fermentation, then purification, then ethanol is being produced, then it is being blended with petrol, it's transported and fuel, and again it reaches out to the fuel station where the consumer can use it. The merits क्या क्या है इस decision के? First, this will allow the food stock productions, biofuel and foster development in the indigenous technology. नीति आयोग ने इसके काफ़ी immense benefits बताए हैं. 20% ethanol blending जब होगी उसके काफ़ी benefits हैं. Other advantages include increase in the energy security, lowered carbon emissions, better air quality, self-reliance, better use of damaged food grains, and increased farmer income and investment opportunities. Ethanol blending की क्या status है country में? अभी present में 9.45% की blending होती है. This is the current status, and government will reach 10% by the end of this year, and finally by 2023 20% blending allow की जाएगी for the petroleum. This would be mandatory for the blending processes. Now, center states have equal power to make laws with related to the GST. This is something very important Supreme Court judgment, and this would again call for the review of the hardcore idea behind the GST. Recently, the Supreme Court has said that the center and the state have conferred the power to legislate goods and services taxes matter, and the court has noted that the recommendation of the GST Council are not binding either on the state government or on the central government. Now, GST के कुछ अगर compositions की बात करें, it composes of CGST, IGST and SGST. This together comprises of the GST. इश्यूज ऑफ IGST ऑन ओशन फ्रंट, इसको लेकर के प्ली फाइल की गई थी, जहां सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कहा दैट गुजरात हाई कोर्ट की जो जजमेंट है विच अलाउ दैट कैन नॉट लेवी द इंटीग्रेटेड गुड एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स ऑन द ओशन फ्रंट इंडियन इंपोर्टर्स, एंड द बोन ऑफ कंटेंशन वाज रिगार्डिंग विद रिगार्ड्स टू इंडियन इंपोर्टर दैट कैन सब्जेक्ट टू द लेवी ऑफ इंटीग्रेटेड गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज टैक्स, और इवन द फॉरेन सेलर और द फॉरेन शिप नीड टू रिवर्स दिस चार्जेस. तो जितने लोगों ने ऑलरेडी पेमेंट किए उनको हो सकता है गवर्नमेंट रिफंड भी करे. सुप्रीम कोर्ट की क्या ऑब्जर्वेशंस थी? द कोर्ट हैज एम्फसाइज्ड दैट आर्टिकल 246 व्हिच गिव्स स्टेट्स पावर टू मेक लॉ विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जीएसटी एंड कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल राइट, यहाँ पे इक्वल यूनिट बताई गई है बोथ फॉर द सेंटर एंड द स्टेट्स, राइट. तो सेंटर और स्टेट्स दोनों को इक्वल एंटिटी बताया गया है इन फॉर्मुलेटिंग द लॉज. एंड आर्टिकल 279A constitute the GST Council envisions neither the center nor the states can actually depend on each other. And the parliament and the state legislature possess a simultaneously power to legislate or laws on GST. Recommendations जो हैं GST की वो मैंडेटरी नहीं होंगी, बाइंडिंग नहीं होगी, neither on the states nor on the central government. This was only for the persuasive value. This is what the Supreme Court has noted. और कोर्ट ने कहा कि जो इनके recommendations हैं उनको आप कंसिडर करें, but this would be not binding. GST Council, although a constitutional body, है to advise and recommend on the GST issues, which is being headed by the finance minister. And the legal experts said that the judgment might change the landscape of the GST provision with regard to the judicial review. So GST in itself is a powerful body, GST Council, और इसकी जो खास करके हार्डकोर आइडियाज थी फॉर द फॉर्मेशन इज समथिंग वुड बी नलिफाइड एंड द गवर्नमेंट वुड बी रिकंसिडरिंग दैट किस तरह से आगे हमें जीएसटी काउंसिल के रिकमेंडेशंस को यूज करनी है. So what next? You can see this infograph that the good importers good some relief. They no longer would be liable to pay GST on the ocean freight and other refunds. The center and the state, the finance minister believe that SC order only reiterate the spirit for the GST council and all of the decision design would be reached by the consensus और GST council में summon soon to discuss the GST. जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के जो वर्डिक्ट हैं उसके इम्प्लीकेशंस को डिस्कस करने के लिए जीएसटी काउंसिल की मीटिंग भी होगी. रिसेंट में मीटिंग हुई थी जिसमें डिसीजन लिया गया था 28% ऑफ यूनिफॉर्म और अम्ब्रेला जीएसटी फॉर कैसीनो एंड ऑनलाइन प्लेइंग गेम्स. सो ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन है रिसेंट में जीएसटी को लेकर के एंड यू कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ मेंस क्वेश्चन इन जीएसटी एज. So this was all about for the FCA. We have a lot more other initiative like daily news and editorial analysis. IAS Gazette की magazine हम हमारे वेबसाइट से डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं from IAS ज्ञान. FCA we have already discussed. PIB हमने अपलोड की हुई है. MPR which is also there just of Yojana and Kurukshetra would be uploaded very soon. So all this initiative will help you to sail through this journey of civil services. Do check it out. आप हमारे चैनल पे जाएं, उसके प्लेलिस्ट सेक्शन में आपको सारी वीडियोस मिल जाएंगी. If you have any other concern, you can let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.